Hi and welcome to this Google Hangouts for Business training. My name is Elene Marsden and I'm going to talk you through the 25 steps for business Hangout success. The training is going to be divided into 3 chunks. We'll start with all the things you need to do before a Hangout, on the Hangout day itself and after the Hangout. So let's look at the topics for the first section, which is before the Hangout. We're going to talk about marketing plans, marketing copy, promotions, sending e-shots, pre-Hangout meetings, and also setting up a Hangout on air from a variety of different places and the difference between them. So first of all, I think it's essential that you spend time with a marketing plan so that you know exactly why you're using Google Hangouts. You want to know the outcome, what you want to achieve, and who your target audience is. Now, I create these simple plans using Excel, and because I have a Hangout every week, I want to know who the guest is each week and who the target audience is going to be, what my outcome is, and the cost of promotion. Now, normally it's just my time, but also you may want to be using paid advertising to promote your Hangouts. So getting a plan in place is essential because you know then you're going to be on target to achieve your outcomes. So the example I'm going to use throughout this training is a Hangout that I had this week with John Miller from the Green Chair. I asked John to send me some marketing information. He sent me his company logo and he sent me a description as to what the Hangout was going to be all about. So I turned that into some promotional material. I use PowerPoint. It's really simple to use, and the good thing about PowerPoint is that you can convert a slide into a JPEG or a PNG, which is then the material that you can upload to social media sites. So what sort of things do you need to include? Well, you need to tell people the day, the time, how long it's likely to be, what they're going to get out of it, all of these key things. So I would definitely recommend that you spend some time on promotional material. There's a lot of text on that slide there, but I also like to keep it a little bit simpler as well and just put the main topic, which goes on various sites, my Facebook page, which I'll show you later. So there we are. This next slide though is a very pruned down, simple slide which just literally shows the images, and I use this information as a Google Hangout overlay, but I'll show you how this works later on when we get on to that part of the training. So get your promotional material out there to as many different places as you can. I promote all the Hangouts that I run on Google. I also promote them on Facebook, and because I've got a database of contacts, I also like to send out e-shots to my database, and I actually have thousands of contacts in my database, and I'll just show you a couple of screenshots there. That's the database that I use, and I'm able to target particular contacts who I think are going to be most interested in the Hangout that I'm running that week. I use an email provider called SwiftPage, and I can actually target those contacts with an e-shot, and that's an example of the e-shot that I sent out in preparation for John Miller's Hangout with me. So telling people what it was all about, the power of Google Hangouts and how they can actually watch the Hangout live, and I'll be showing you where all these links occur and how you can use them later on. But that's just an example of an e-shot I send out. Now, it's a good idea to give people plenty of notice, so you want to perhaps send out several emails, not least the day before or even on the day as well. So you can have a sequence of messages ready to go out to contacts that you know will be interested in joining your Hangout. So just to recap, we've looked at the importance of a marketing plan and the marketing copy and images that you need to get from your guests. and the promotions that you're going to do. Send e-shots if you can. Now, I always recommend that with each of my guests that we have a pre-hangout meeting either the week before or a few days before, so you can test out the technology, make sure the microphone and the camera works satisfactorily. Now we're going to go on and have a look at how to set up a Hangout in advance from a variety of different places. The kind of Hangouts we're talking about on this training course are Hangouts on air, but if you ever wanted to set up a video Hangout, an impromptu Hangout, it's very easy. Either from your G+ page or profile, come along to the options, come down to Hangouts, and you can see one of the tabs across the top is a video Hangout. Select that and start a video Hangout, and you can invite whoever you want, but that one won't be recorded. We're more interested in the Hangouts on air that are streamed to YouTube. So one of the first methods of starting a Hangout on air is to go via YouTube. So come across to YouTube, come over. First of all, let me just show you the channel. There's my YouTube channel, and inside the channel there's an option across the top which says Video Manager. You're going to select that and you'll come down to Live Events, and all the up and coming Hangouts on air will be showing and listed there. And when you're ready to start the Hangout, you simply select that button. Now, to show you just how easy it is to set one up, I'm going to click New Live Event. And here I'm going to put in the title. It's really important you put in a title that's going to relate exactly to the Hangout, make it as interesting as possible. You can set up the date and the time for the Hangout, put a full description in there with any links back to websites, put your keywords in there, and you'll notice you've got several options. You can make it public, unlisted or private. If you choose the public option, then as soon as you go live, then it will be shared to all those social media channels. And I'm just going to click create an event now, so that becomes an event and will show up in the list of Hangouts on air. And if at any time you want to edit the Hangout, you can just click the edit button. If you want to go and watch what that will look like on a regular YouTube page, you can select that option, and you can see it's saying standby, it's due to start in 2 days' time. So let me just go back one. And if at any stage you want to, for example, delete the Hangout, what we can do to do that, we're just going to cancel out of that. It will go back to the list. And once I've done that, I'm just going to go back to the event manager. And if I need to delete any of them, just put a tick in that box there and choose the option Actions and delete. So that's how to set up Google Hangout on air from YouTube, and one of the advantages of doing it this way is all the YouTube keywords and description have been prepared in advance. When I set up a Hangout on air using G+, I have to use my G+ profile because my profile is connected to my YouTube channel. So that's why I start the Hangout on air through my profile rather than my page. So what we first of all need to do is come along to Hangouts, and here you'll be able to choose Start a Hangout on Air. And I'm going to give it a name like before. I'm just going to call it Hangout Training. And you need to tell people what it's about, because what's going to happen is it's going to set up an events page. So I'm going to say it's later, and just give it a time and a date. That's perfect. It's 30 minutes long. Now, my audience, to begin with, I'm not going to send it out to targeted groups. I'm going to remove that, and I'm just going to invite one person to begin with, which is my business page. So let me just get that set up, and then once I've done that, I'm ready to hit the share button. So what will happen is an event will now be created. You can see it's loading. This is the events page, and there's all sorts of good things you can do here. First of all, you can upload a trailer telling people a little bit more about what to expect. You can also select the Q&A app to enable people to ask you questions, because with any Hangout, you can only have 9 guests in, but you can have thousands of people watching. So those people who are watching and who are going to be, let's say, watching through G+, through the event, if they ask questions there, that will show up inside the Hangout. So those are the key things to show you. Now, there are some other options, and let's come over to the details section. So first of all, when I click the links here, you can see these are all the embed links and the links that you're going to send out and share. But I'll talk to you about what to do with those later. Let's click the little drop-down arrow next to details, and here you can change some of the settings. So yes, guests can comment and invite other people, and you can also allow guests to add photos. So I'm going to include that option there. You can edit the event, you can manage the guest list, and then choose targeted people to send the invitation to. You can duplicate the event or even delete the event. There's so much to do in the run-up to a Hangout, not least making sure you've got an audience. And one of the things you can do is you can click the Invite More option here, and you can invite individuals or circles. And for example, I have a circle of contacts who've interacted with my e-shots that I send out. If they're on G+, I put them into a circle and I can invite them because they're obviously engaged with my content. But I'm just going to send an invitation to Hangouts for Business and invite. And the other clever thing that you can do is you can click the message button, and that message button enables you to send out a message, not just to invite people, but even to say thank you for those who've said yes, or even those who are not quite sure maybe they'll come, or even those that haven't responded yet. So you can send these messages out to people right up until the last minute, just before the Hangout goes live. So let me just show you what an invitation looks like. We'll go across to the business page, Hangouts for Business. We'll click the notifications and we'll take a little look there, and you can see there Elene Marsden has invited us to this training, and I'm going to say yes, we'd love to watch. So to sum up, I showed you how to create a Hangout on air from your YouTube channel. We also took a look at creating Hangouts on air from G+ profiles and pages, which generates an event. The third and quickest way to go straight to a Google Hangout on air is to go to a browser. Always recommend you use Chrome, and you make sure that you've got Chrome extensions installed for full Hangout functionality. I've got a shortcut here on the toolbar which enables me to go straight to hangouts.google.com/on-air. As soon as I click that, I'm inside the Hangout. All I need to do now is to put in a name and type in the people I want to invite to the Hangout and start the broadcast. But you're only inside the green room. It doesn't actually go live until you select the live button. But we'll take a look at inside a Hangout in the next video. Hello and welcome back. This is the Hangout day itself, and there's so much to do. I usually like to start my Hangout 1 or 2 hours before I go live. I want to test the sound and that the video works. I'll look at testing the lower thirds and the custom overlays. I'll copy the custom URL and send it to invitees, not to the general public. That's very important to be aware of. I'll also grab the YouTube link and add that to my website so that the Hangout can be streamed live there. I'll put the video embed code on Facebook. If you're using Facebook, that's optional but really effective if your audience is there. And then I spend time relaxing and chatting with my guests in the green room. So let's take a look at all of these steps inside the Hangout. Now let's take a look at what happens inside a Hangout. First of all, you can see that this is currently off air. If I want to go live and start the broadcast, I'll hit the green button here. Over on the left-hand side are all the tools, and you can see that they come and go depending on if your mouse is hovering over them. So if you can't see them, take your mouse over to the left-hand side and they should show up. Starting at the very top, you've got the chat. This enables people inside the Hangout to have conversations with each other, and you can see over on the right you can just type in a message and hit enter and it appears on the right hand side. So that's the chat. Coming down further, other tools that are available are the screen share options. If you click this green button, I can now share my screen with you. And when I hit start screen share, here I'm just showing a website, but I could be sharing a PowerPoint presentation or a Google document. And it's really very, very useful. Other people inside the Hangout can also share their screen. And to go back to the Hangout, I click the green screen share button again. Underneath that you can see the Q&A tool, which enables people to ask you questions. Those people who are watching using G+, all the questions and answers will appear there on the right. The next button is screen capture. You can actually take a picture of people inside the Hangout that could then be uploaded to your live events. The next one is the cameraman. Here you can choose what to do when guests join. Do you want to hide the audio and video? That might be something you decide you want to do. Do you want to hide the little video feeds of people who are joining the Hangout? And when new guests join, do you want them to be muted? So these are all the options under cameraman. So coming back, my favourite tool is the Hangout toolbox. Here you can see all kinds of options when you select it, and we'll look at that next. Inside the Hangout toolbox is where you can add your custom overlay. Here you can see I've already got an overlay showing, and I always start the Hangout show with an overlay and then remove it. So it's very easy to upload an overlay, but first of all let's just take this one off. I'll just click that button there and now we're inside the show. And if I want to add a different overlay, click the button, the red button there, and I'll use this overlay that I used for the John Miller Hangout this week. And you can see when I click the on button, that's the overlay that I used. So I would always recommend you start the show with the overlay and then just remove it so that you can smoothly go straight to the Hangout itself. Now let's take a look at the lower third. Before I do that, I'll have to remove the custom overlay. So you can type your name in there, you can type a tagline, I'm just going to call it training, you can upload a logo, you can choose the colour for the strip at the bottom, and make sure you click the on button. If your lower third is showing as a mirror image, look at this little button to the left hand side, which enables you to switch it around so that it looks correct. And you can choose lots of different lower thirds. I've got a few preset ones I've created earlier. So I've got my Hangouts for Business one and a Better Act Now one. So you can play around with creating your own lower thirds. So moving away from the Hangout toolbox, let's come over to the control room, which is where you can control the sound and video of all the members inside the Hangout. The other thing at the very top here is you can invite people to join you, you can turn your own microphone off, your camera off, you can check the bandwidth usage, you can also click the cog and check the settings, make sure your microphone is working and your speaker. And if you wanted to end the Hangout, you could just click this button here. The link that you send to the people who've got a special invite to come inside the Hangout is this one in the browser here. Just copy it and you can either send that via an email or via a Google post that's addressed just to those individuals. This link must not be shared with the public. So now we need to make sure people can watch our Hangout from a variety of different places, and to do that we're going to click the links button, the bottom right hand corner of the Hangout. The other option is to grab these links from the Google Plus events page. If you remember, I showed you where that was earlier. So I'm going to highlight and copy the YouTube page, and I'm going to show you how I add this to my website. So first of all, we'll go over to my website. I've got a particular page there where I stream these Hangouts live. That's one from a previous show, but I'll show you how I can put this training one on there. I use WordPress, so I'm going to go inside the dashboard of WordPress. I'm going to come across to Pages, and I'm going to find the live show page and click Edit. Now, when that opens up, you can see that line of code enables me to see that YouTube, in actual fact, centered and across the page. So I'm just going to paste in the actual link from the training Hangout, and the key bit that I want is this last bit. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it in here. Be ever so careful that that goes in, and paste that in, and I can just remove that. And now I'm going to update this, and what we should see is we should see the training Hangout showing. So let's just come across here, and I'm just going to refresh the page, and we should be able to see that. And then we click on that, you can see standing by, it's going to start very, very soon. So that's how to embed the YouTube onto your website. If your audience is on Facebook, you'll want to stream your Hangout video to Facebook so that they can watch it from the comfort of Facebook. And to do that, all you need to do is to grab the video embed code, select it and copy it, and then come across to Facebook. Now, here's my Facebook page, and I've got apps that I use to stream my Hangouts from Facebook. And here's the app that I use. It's from 22 Social, and you can see here that this is the Hangout that was live last week, and I'm going to replace that with the training one. So I do that by coming up to the content button and choose media, and here I'm going to replace that video embed code with the one that I've just copied and preview. And here you can see the Hangout training video that we've created, and you can see I've got to stand by. It's going to be starting soon, so you do have to make sure that you save that, and then that will be available for your Facebook fans to watch from inside Facebook. Okay, so we're live inside a Google Hangout on air. I clicked the Start Broadcast button at the bottom, and now that's showing as red, and you can see we're live. And the first thing I want to do as soon as the broadcast is live is take off the overlay image, and I'll just select that, and now you can see me on the camera on the main screen. I've got one visitor today with me on the Hangout, and if you notice at the very bottom, all the images of all the guests will show, and you can control who's going to speak by using the blue box technique. At the moment I'm blue boxed, so it's my face and it's my image that's on the main screen, but let me just click the guest's image, that's Steve. So I've clicked his box there, and you can see he's on the main screen now. So Steve, would you just like to say a few words to test the audio?
Hi.
Excellent.
Hi, how's that?
That's perfect. Thank you very much. And if you notice, now that I've got Steve blue boxed, there's a drop down arrow alongside that, so I could potentially hide that guest from the broadcast. I could take a look at his profile. I could eject him from the Hangout, or even mute his sound. So those are the controls that you have access to when you're live inside the broadcast. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can control the Hangout to make sure the whole experience is smooth for all your guests and all your viewers. Now let's recap all the things you need to do on the Hangout day itself. Start the Hangout with plenty of time before you go live. Test sound and video equipment, test the lower thirds are working and your custom overlay. Don't forget to copy the custom URL, which is at the top of the Hangout, and that's the thing that you can send to all your invitees. You don't want to make that public because you'll have all sorts of people trying to join your Hangout that haven't been invited. And then you can add your YouTube link to your website, the video embed code to Facebook, and when you've got everything set up, you can relax and chat with your guests in the green room prior to hitting the start broadcast button when you go live stream to the various channels. In the next video, we'll take a look at the things you need to do after you've had your Hangout. And welcome back. Now that you've had a successful Hangout, you want to ensure that you get the very best from that Hangout so it keeps on giving. The first thing you need to do is to go to your YouTube and take that video and make sure the description, the title and the keywords have all been completed. Then you can go to your G+ event page and add comments and thank guests and viewers, answer any questions there may be, and take time sharing the recording with those who are unable to attend. You can put it on Twitter and Facebook and create a G+ post summarising the Hangout. And if everything goes according to plan, you should find that that Hangout will show up on Google search, and hopefully your company, your visitor, your guest will be on the front page. Let's take a look at that now. If you started your Hangout from YouTube, you've probably already completed the description and the keywords. But if you started it from your G+ page or profile, you need to go to the YouTube video and make sure it's optimized. So come over to your channel and then you can see the list of the videos that have been streamed and uploaded. And the one I've just recorded is there just 4 minutes ago. I'm going to select it and I'm going to come over to edit it, and inside the editing screen you can see the title that needs to be packed out with some keywords. The description obviously needs to be included, lots of information with regards to what the summary of the Hangout was, and any links to websites can go in there. Keywords, Google has already put some in for me, but you can add your own, and it's quite straightforward. You just literally type the keyword in there and hit enter, and that goes in. You can change the settings for the Hangout so it can be private or public. Obviously it wants to be public, and then when you're ready you can hit save changes. And don't forget to put links to the recordings on all the various social media channels, like your G+ account, like your Facebook page. You can come onto Twitter and you can post there a link to the YouTube recording. Great Hangout, and basically do as much as you can to continue to promote it across the various social media channels. If you used G+ to launch your Hangout on air, an events page would have been created. And this is an example of a Hangout I attended recently, the events page. You can see a strong cover picture has been added. It's got a great title, 64 people plus one it. You can see the recording to the Hangout is showing there. Obviously when it was live people were commenting, but many people watched the rerun and all their comments are showing down below. Over on the right you can see details of the Hangout. There's even a link to the official website, and the whole Hangout was all about David Amerland's new book, and it was hosted by Yifat Cohen. So it was a really good interactive Hangout with plenty of information to share, and of course this events page will stay so that people could go back, re-watch the Hangouts and it just keeps on giving. Events pages are very, very good for getting your brand out there and for helping you to become visible in Google search. Showing up on page 1 of Google search may not be your number one priority, but it certainly is an added benefit to running Hangouts. I'm going to show you now how John Miller from the Green Chair has shown up on page 1 of Google after the Hangout that we had this week. So from Google, I'm just going to type in there the Green Chair, and I'll type in John's name and enter, and there you can see John Miller Hangout the Green Chair showing as that YouTube video on the first page of Google. So that's absolutely brilliant publicity for his company. So to summarise, don't forget the keywords, the descriptions on the YouTube video, get your comments on the G+ events page, thank your guests and the viewers, share the recording everywhere, include a G+ post as well to summarise the Hangout. Thanks ever so much for joining me with this training. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget there is an accompanying PDF file available to download. And if you need any help with Hangout production or Hangout training, please do get in touch. Thanks again. Bye for now.